This is a video I don't really want to make, but I also want you to know and be inspired by this young man and what can happen as a human when you give your life to God. For the second time in my life, someone I know who's a very good human being has had their life taken by another human being. Last week, whilst he slept in his bed next to his wife, a friend of our family called Gret Glyer, he was shot and died because of it. Now the man who shot him has been caught, and for all the news have said the man is Gret's wife's ex-boyfriend. It's not true. It seems he's just a delusional man from their church. And so a really awesome human being lost his life. Senselessly, tragically, just pointlessly. And it threw everybody, naturally, because of the way it happened. It's just so intensely senseless for someone to walk into your home while you're sleeping and kill you in your sleep as you sleep next to your wife. And so, let me tell you about Gret. Gret had a crisis in conscience, and he was working a corporate job, and he's a very devoted Christian. His daughter's name is Galilee. Very devoted Christian, loved Jesus, was inspired by the love of Jesus. And so in that corporate job, he decided he wanted to do something to help the world, and God opened a door for him to go to Malawi. And he went to Malawi and he started helping women and children. And of course the story has a reflection of my own, only Gret had a great foundation to do good, whereas my crisis of conscience came because I was the opposite type of human being and I was involved in drugs, etc. But God opened a door and we both wound up in Africa, countries that border each other. And so Gret successfully helped to build homes for widows and orphans. And he got involved with fundraising for a girls' school, because girls' education is very not thought of in that part of the world. And in this process, he realized that interactive sharing was now something that can happen, but isn't. And so he went back to the States and he opened a platform called Donacy. And this is how I met Gret. Because Donacy is a platform, a community where the most impoverished people around the world, using representatives that Donacy know and have vetted, like ourselves for example, you can post a 60-second video there with someone who's in crisis, and you can fundraise up to $500 for that person. And so for example, we would meet children who need wheelchairs, children in our care needing medical care, and we could post them on Donacy and people would fund it, and then we'd post an update and show them what happened. It was a great, and it still is a beautiful vision that he had. And it's the transparency of sharing, because most have lost hope in large charities with reason. And so it gives the donor a visual, and they get to experience with a video at least what they've done in the world. And so this vision of Gret's met with my own vision deeply, And of course I have a platform coming out, and I hope that platform would work with Gret's platform actually. Of course my platform's not the same. It's connecting content creators and charities. Gret's platform and his vision. You know, the day before this man went into his home and killed him, he wrote on his social media, "Imagine the party we're going to have when we eradicate world poverty. It'll be such a big party." This was a young man who dreamed of ending world poverty and gave his whole life to that topic. And he changed a lot of lives in the most loving of ways by facilitating a space where people who do have empathy, love and compassion can have a framework to make that work with those who need that empathy, love and compassion. And so I want you to be inspired by Gret's life. And I know that people say, well, what sort of God is this that he serves and he loves and he cares, and something so senseless happens to him? I've said it over and over, and Gret was a Christian, so I know he held the same worldview. If you don't bump into the devil on the road, perhaps you're going in the wrong direction. Gret was going in the right direction in such a profound way that when he did bump into the devil on the road, it was in a terrible, terrible fashion and manner. But it's true. This world is... We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but spiritual wickedness in high places. My perceptions won't allow me to see anything other than a warrior who was doing great good for the kingdom of light, and in doing so was doing great damage to the kingdom of darkness, has been taken too soon from the human story. But what a life well lived. And I wish, whilst Gret was alive, I told him how much I respect him, and how grateful I am, and how much love I have for how his vision met my vision. And for all I wasn't as close to Gret as Fritzy was. Fritzy used to spend hours talking with Gret on video conferences and working out strategies and things for his platform and for what charities need on the ground. I wish I'd shared with Gret whilst he was here how valuable this vision of his was to the lives of these children that I call my family. Gret didn't speak of having some mystic shift in consciousness, but he did speak with an open heart, and he did love Jesus and follow what Jesus taught, and followed it well. It's a life well lived, however short, and however tragic the end, it was a life well lived. So. My love, my condolences to those closest to Gret, especially his wife and children, his family. Just pray that his vision continues to change the world. And rest in peace, Gret. You fought as a frontline Christian. You were not lukewarm in the least. I'm sorry it had to end that way. You have my love, my respect. You had it in this world and you have it in the next. Thank you for everything you did for humanity whilst you were here. Know you are loved.
As you watch us from beyond the skies, will you keep us in your sight to guide our every step and light our way? God has chosen you to sit amongst the angels and the saints until the day we join you once again. Gentle soul, loving brother, silent strength, loving son, on your shoulders I will rest all my fears.